Jones. Shout out to the source.
The phenomenal talent. How are you?
I am good. First of all, y'all were the most lit crowd. I was like, oh, we up and stuck. Okay, period.
I will truly never get over hearing you perform live. You have an otherworldly voice. You just completed your first ever headlining tour. What was that like?
Being on tour, it is a different hustle. I mean, I definitely found myself being way more disciplined. I don't even remember my first tour. I was on tour with Mindless Behavior. I was like 15. So it had been a while, and I wanted to make sure that I gave every crowd everything that I had. So I was very disciplined. I had a routine. I didn't really turn up. I was really consistent on performing and then resting and making sure that the next day I had the same amount of energy and effort. I wanted every crowd to be like satisfied. And I think they were.
Yeah, I think so too. What did you learn about yourself on the road as a person and as a performer this time around?
I think I got back to the love that I have of performing. For a while, I was just in the studio making songs, and then I was filming, and so I didn't really get to be on stage as much, and I kind of forgot how it feels. So I guess I kind of relearned another aspect of being a musician that I love.
This was a big year first for you, but your success did not happen overnight. You've been practicing a lot of gratitude in the past week, I'm sure, trying to process all the emotions that come with being nominated for 5 Grammy Awards. Do you feel like it has like hit you yet? Like, has it hit you that the fact that you've been recognized in this way as some of music's best?
It comes and goes. Sometimes I look back at my childhood self, and I'm like, okay, this has been a really, really long journey, and I know that younger version of me. I gave it everything I had, every opportunity that I got. So sometimes I'm like, okay, yes, this is what you worked for. And then other times I'm like, is this for real? Somebody cut the cameras. Like, honestly, is this my life? It just depends on the day.
Yeah, and your journey is so inspiring. I mean, your story has ups and downs, but it really is a story of evolution. And if you were to think back to your first audition, your first live performance, all of your very firsts, how would you say you got to where you are today? Like, what were the tangible steps that you took towards reaching this chapter of your career that you could share?
I think it was 2 things that my younger self had that I always try to remind myself to not forget. One was this almost delusional confidence. Like, it was like crazy. I'd walk in the room and I'd be like, baby, don't you know I'm Hannah Montana? Like, are you not aware of who you have in the room? And me at 9 years old. But I was just so sure of myself and of my talents and my work ethic and my passion for all of this. And I think sometimes you forget that you really love the things that you are striving for, and you're deserving of great things. So I think my confidence was something that got me there, and also just resilience. I mean, if I would have walked away maybe after the 1,000th no, then maybe it would have been like, all right, you've earned it, but I just couldn't stop. Like, it was never gonna be enough for me to walk away. I was just gonna do whatever to get where I wanted to be.
I mean, when it's for you, it will never pass you. So clearly, you're here for a reason.
Tea.
Okay?
That was tea.
Okay? I think until you posted that video in 2020, that iconic What Really Happened live stream, y'all know the one, the one that reinvigorated your career, basically. I don't think many people understood the harsh realities of what it means trying to make it in this industry as a young Black woman, especially as a young Black woman bursting with confidence such as yourself. What's something that people don't know about the plights of becoming a star that, you know, and becoming the star that sits before us today from both the acting perspective and the musician perspective?
What's something they don't know about, like, the plight of it all? I don't know, because one, I told pretty much every truth that happened to me, so I'm like, what do they not know? And then I'd had an EP, said what I didn't tell you. I'm like, what do you guys not know at this point? Man. Geez, I don't really know, because I feel like with social media and with more people like taking that veil of pretend off of their profiles and off of their brands, a lot more is educated on.
Yeah.
A lot more of the good and the bads. And I try to keep it 100 every time that I get a microphone or a platform. So I feel like as far as the difficulties that come with being in this industry, I think it's really obvious at this point. But I do also think it's inspiring to see the women who have made changes, like the Shonda Rhimes and the Issa Raes, who have gotten places of power and have written for women who are of color, like who've created those opportunities. And I think that's what everyone can be doing. You can create your own TV show on your phone, and that it can really go up and it can become viral. Like at this point, in this stage of the world, we can create our own opportunities. So I've seen the industry evolve so much because we're talented individuals. And when we have a platform and we have consistency, we can pretty much do anything at all.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, as a 25-year-old, how do you think your understandings of success and failure were shaped by growing up in the spotlight as a child star?
My understandings of success and failure had to be rebranded because I thought success and failure was being booked or not. And so I was like, okay, I am not eating, clearly. But when it shifted, success is not giving up. It's doing something every day towards your end goal. And maybe that something is writing a song that you will never put out, but you became a better songwriter that day, like you didn't become a worse one that day. Or maybe that's creating a piece of clothing that doesn't look like anything else you see out there. Who knows how it's gonna get made, but you're being a visionary, babes. Success to me is doing something rather than doing nothing. And failure to me is doing nothing forever. Failure to me is walking away. Sometimes success to me is giving yourself mercy and grace instead of always being insanely hard on yourself. It's like, girl, you gotta be your own friend. This is getting crazy. So sometimes to me it's like, relax, you're good, you're meant to be here. And then the next day you do something productive, you know, balance.
Absolutely, keep trying, yeah, 1,000%. So if you could do it all over again, is there anything that you would do differently? Like, what mistakes do you think that you made that you would advise other aspiring entertainers, maybe in the audience, to avoid?
I mean, I don't regret because it is what it is. But if I could go back, two things. One, my mom told me to get on YouTube way earlier. And I was like, girl, the jobs come to me. I'm Hannah Montana. I've told you this. But looking back, I'm like, wow, I could have had a huge platform by now if I would have done that at literally 12 years old. And then the audience would have been mine, that nobody could take away. And I think I do have that now in a different way, but I could have, you know, had a different career if I had my own TV show on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Whatever I created at that time. And then I also think sometimes I'm like, I wish I would have learned tangible crafts that help me in my dream. I always have to depend on an engineer. No matter how many great songs, somebody's got to record it. I don't know how to do that. But I had the time to learn. I always depend on a producer. And so it's frustrating because I'm like, I have ideas, but I didn't learn how to produce. I mean, I know a little garage band 1, 2, but I had the time to learn these tangible and like less artisty things to learn that would have been crucial and could have changed, you know, my life, and especially instruments, oh my Lord, but that's another story. But anyway, it all worked out the way it needed to work out, and I'm learning them now with the limited time that I have. But yes, if I could go back,
Are you learning an instrument right now?
Oh no, girl, I had to give up on that because I need these nails. Seriously, I'm like, at this point.
It's not your ministry, I understand.
I'm just like, there's give and take, and there's certain things that I just need, and I need my nails. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Everything is not for everyone, correct?
Right? But I'm learning to engineer, though. I do think that's a crucial skill to have, and I don't have all the time that I used to have, but it's important to me to learn.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow, producer Coco Jones. It's
Girl.
coming. I love that.
Maybe.
So you've said in the past that as a child actor, you didn't know yourself. Do you feel like you know who you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I'm the most myself I've ever been. And I keep becoming more myself. And I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. Because I thought I knew myself that day. But look at me today. I'm like really that girl. I really know myself. But I think therapy was a big part of that. Because
Shout out to therapy, okay?
.com. Because I had all of these things that I believed about myself. And I was like, well, you know, da-da-da-da-da-da-da about me. And she'd be like, but why? And I'm like, someone told me in the 2nd grade that that's why. And she's like, baby, no. No, you're an adult. Like, you get to pick and choose your truth. So I had to reevaluate everything that I was sure about because it had no legs to stand on for the most part. It was just what I had heard or what I assumed from the world around me. But, like, that doesn't have to be my truth. Whatever I want to be my truth is mine, you know? So now I feel like in that process of removing stuff that didn't apply to who I really am and what feels authentic to me, I'm more myself now.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you, give it up. How do you think that deep intimacy of knowing oneself is going to impact you moving forward and impact your art?
Knowing myself impacts every decision I make, personal and business and creatively, because there were so many times where I just went with what everyone said, you know? I wasn't sure. And I want to be sure of everything that I do. And the people that I trust with the decisions that I don't know, I want to be sure of that. The people that I let into my limited space for free time, I want to be sure of them. Are they bringing me up or are they dragging me down? And it's okay to let go of the things that I'm not sure about because certainty to me, uncertainty is a sign to me. And I also always would be like, well, maybe it's just because da-da-da-da-da, and I'm trying to make this fit, and it's not. Girl, let it go. Let it go. Let them go.
Don't force it. That's the lesson today, okay? We would all love to know, we being me, how is the album coming along?
I promise y'all, as soon as I can get the album out, I'm trying to get her out, okay? Plus, being on tour, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so many new ideas. I just feel so like charged up with ideas. But I am the type where I'm very competitive with my own self. So I have a lot of songs that I did before I was consistently in the studio. Like when I had a studio session here and there, and then, you know, I have to go here, but I have a session here. Quick 30 minutes here to do this. And I want to get in a rhythm of being creative and being in my songwriting bag, see what I come up with, and then compare it to the other songs that I really feel like are that heat. But I say all that to say, ideally, I would want the album to come out early in the year, like in the summer. Yeah.
Give us a summer soundtrack, please. As a little girl, how did you envision, like what did you imagine your album to sound like when you were younger? And do you think that it'll match the present now?
Girl, hell no. I mean, my original thoughts about what I wanted to, first of all, I was rapping. I mean, I just don't, that's not
Are those still in
my
the vault?
ministry anymore.
Are those
What?
bars still in the vault?
They're in the vault.
Oh, okay.
They're locked up, but girl, they wasn't even eating like that. It was about like basketball, okay? But I mean, my life at that time, it just was very cookie cutter, and that's fine, you know? But now I'm so much more authentic, and there's so much more to say because there's so much more life that I've lived. It's nothing the same. But she was really cute. I would listen to her sometimes and be like, purr, but no.
So what is a part of the entertainment industry that you haven't touched yet, but you would like to? Because you do it all.
Thank you.
I mean, it's a fact, you know.
You know what? There are a couple different things. One, I really want to mentor / artist develop or something. I just have this image of being like, you're next up. And I don't know who and how and when there'll be the time. And also, I'm still trying to get up there. So I'm like, let me humble down. But one day, I want to like help someone rise from the ashes. I also really love scoring films. Like, I listen to the music sometimes of films, and I'm like, God, you ate, you know? And I just would want to, like, be scoring a film. I just think that would be cool. Like, to have a symphony there, and I'm like, violins higher, you know? Like, I just imagine that, and then it just being in some like beautiful film. That's what I would love to do.
I love that. I can't wait for you to break into the film industry. We will be clapping when the credits are rolling, okay?
Yeah.
What words of advice do you have for those here today or watching online who are working towards making their dreams a reality?
You know, I feel like there's this universal formula of working hard as freak, being passionate like a crazy person, and being consistent, and then you get the payoff. That formula that I tried to figure out, the thing that was never fitting was the time of it all, you know? But I realized, like, I look back at everything that I did, and I just gave it everything I had, every opportunity. For y'all said it, a decade. I was like, decade is crazy. But it took the time, you know? And ideally, it would have been different times, but the things that did not change was I gave it everything I had, every chance I got, and I was passionate like a crazy person. So I feel like that's the formula that worked for me. That's what I would advise for anybody trying to reach any formula. Let go of the idea of time. Time is an illusion, but get crazy about what you love and get consistent about what you love.
Absolutely. Coco, I cannot thank you enough for sharing your gift and your words with us here today. I mean, we should all truly consider ourselves lucky to bear witness to your resilience and your rise. And you are so deserving, okay? Let's give her flowers, okay?
Thank you. Thank y'all so much for having me. Thank you, Teen Vogue. I appreciate it.
Let's hear it one more time for Coco Jones.
Thank y'all.